I don't think there exists a better introduction to the world's craziest violinist than this clip right here. This is Gitlis talking about his
Hello, baby.
violin.
Do you know me? Have you met me before? Do you want to stay with me a little longer? What do you want to do with me? Why do you talk to me like that? Don't look at me with this kind of eye. My God, what are you talking? You look really funny.
So that is our introduction to Ivry Gitlis. And so in this video, we're going to explore a bit of Ivry Gitlis, because if you're here watching this, you're probably one of the people who's interested in actually getting to know violinists, not just listening to the same bland recordings again and again. And there's a couple things: the rubato, this individuality, and the fact that Gitlis just doesn't really care, that make Gitlis such a fantastic and insane violinist, because he is quite crazy with how he plays things. The first thing we got to look at is his Sibelius concerto. I thought this would be nice to show off because it's a piece that everyone knows. Everyone sort of knows how the Sibelius goes. And we've listened to most, people play it. And the Sibelius, like most pieces, has developed a sort of standard interpretation over time, which is usually a good thing. It's usually good that people don't do something that's too insane. And so you have a rough idea of how the piece goes. Obviously, Sibelius doesn't go. That's not the tempo you play it at. Usually it's faster. It's not. It's not that fast, right? So we have this sort of standard interpretation. But Gitlis, like he does with a lot of things, especially when he is older. So he was quite a bit older. I mean, he must be 70 in this clip. I think as he got older and older, he sort of diverted from what was normal more and more. Because we can listen to his Sibelius that he's recorded earlier. And that's a fairly normal Sibelius. I mean, if we just listen to the start of this, you wouldn't really think twice when you listened. Yeah, if you heard that, you would be like, okay, Gitlis, yeah. It's a little different, not too much. But this is the real display of how far Gitlis can take things in terms of turning it from normal to something that is a completely different experience to listen to. I mean, just from that is completely nuts. That you would never hear anyone else dare play like that. You would never hear anyone else dare start the Sibelius concerto with no vibrato. No one else would go changing this sounding point that much. No one else would play this much, sometimes on the side of the bow, sometimes not. It's crazy. It's a completely nuts Sibelius violin concerto. But it's a really good Sibelius violin concerto. Somehow, a completely nuts Sibelius violin concerto. It defies sort of all of what we think of when we hear this piece, when we think of this piece. Yet, it's so convincing when he plays it. So we'll just listen a bit longer. Now, for someone who's like 70, 80, we gotta give him props for those fingered octaves, man. Fingered octaves at 80 years old is crazy. Okay, but it's such a different, such a different Sibelius concerto. But it's really good. It's important to listen to violinists like that because what it does, it opens your mind to different possibilities of playing. If you just listen to the same sort of playing again and again, you think, okay, and then when you eventually come, which we all will one day, to play this, well, hopefully, if you practice enough, to come to play the Sibelius concerto, then you'll play the same way. And you don't really want to turn out like another sort of bland, robotic, mechanical player. That's the last thing we want. We want to play music because it's music. We don't want to play music ultimately to just be technically correct. We want to be technically correct. We want to get better at practicing. We want to get better at the instrument so that we can play the music. And Gitlis is a great, great example of that because he had such wonderful teachers. He had such wonderful competition wins. Yet he plays like this now because he can. And it's not to play like this because it's, we may as well be crazy, right? It's nothing like that. He plays it because that's how he thinks the music goes. And it goes very, very well when he plays it like that. Now, the next clip we have is this piece by Elgar. Now, the standout part of this piece is the staccato. I've got to give it to him. I've been practicing my staccato. I'm sure you all know and have heard a lot about staccato, or you play pieces with a lot of staccato. It's one of those techniques that is so difficult to get. And there are a lot of players, great masters of the violin who just don't play staccato. Basically never. Their entire careers, they never play a note of staccato because you can get away with it easily. There's no staccato in the major repertoire. In Saint-Saëns, the Rondo Capriccioso, this one. In that, there's maybe a bar of staccato. In Sibelius concerto, third movement, there's 3 beats of staccato? But apart from that, staccato doesn't exist anywhere in the major repertoire. But a lot of these old school, violinists were really, really good at staccato, and Gitlis is no exception. This is just, it's just ridiculous when you listen to it. My God. Another thing to point out here, in a lot of his a lot of concertos as well, but a lot of his smaller sort of encore pieces, like this whole album that he's recorded, he plays a lot with the tempo. He changes tempo. You don't hear it because it sounds so organic. But when you listen to the rhythms, and you think about what the rhythms are, you go, like, he's not playing it at all in time. So this is just in 2. But listen to how much time he takes. Hear it a lot. It's easier to hear the rubato when you try to listen to the piano. Just try this time, listen to the piano, because the piano has rhythms that are supposed to be straight and even. And so dum, bum, 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 bum. You can really hear how much he stretches it out by what the piano does. It's a very common thing that a lot of these older school musicians had. Not that people now don't have it, but they had this sort of inbuilt sense of rhythm. Now we're all taught practice with metronome, metronome, metronome. And yes, we need to, because you need to know what the rhythm is. But these sorts of musicians, they had this idea of rubato that was so different from what we now play. They had this sort of organic understanding of the rhythm. And I think if you watch and listen to lots of these recordings, you begin to adopt a bit of that and a bit of how you can change the rhythms whenever you play anything. So go and listen to this. All these recordings will be in the description. If you like recordings like these and this video so far, this learning about the instrument, the top link in the description is the school community we're building. Just check out the video. There will be, and there are in there already, a bunch of recordings like this of basically every piece you need to know, and by all the different violinists you should be aware of on your violin journey. And I find it's really helpful. It's been one of the most helpful things for my playing to just listen to more violinists. So many people are stuck in this sort of, oh yeah, my favorite piece is the Tchaikovsky Violin Concerto, and I love when Hilary Hahn plays it, which is great. It's fine. It's just a little boring. It really is when you're the 50th person who's said that. So if you're one of those people who actually want to take it a bit further, who actually really want to learn about everything that we can get out of this instrument, just take a look, listen to that. Now, we have to listen to some other Gitlis recordings. We've got to do a little bit of comparison right now. So this is the Kreisler Rondino on a theme by Beethoven. And what's interesting about this piece is that we have a recording of Kreisler, the composer himself, playing it. So we get to compare Gitlis to Kreisler. Now, there's no comparison really. You can't compare who's better, but it's a great point about how differently Gitlis plays things. So this is Kreisler playing his piece. Now we get a bit of an idea of how it goes. It's such a lovely piece, really. I think this is like a dream piece to include as an encore and a recital. And it makes you look out the window in Austria and be like, wow, yeah, this is what it's about. But enough of that. We get an idea, now you know how it goes. This is how Gitlis plays it. hear so clearly how much time he takes and how much he messes up the rhythms in the piece. You can hear it especially when you listen to other. No, not this. I'm listening for another Chrysler. Yeah, something like this. It's meant to be in 3, right? Just 3. So if you try, listen to this, count 3. Count to 3. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2. Right? That's like 9 different tempos in the first bar. And so interesting to listen to. And I think it's just, like, this is just amazing playing. This is what it's about. This is why we practice, so we can show up and play as good as Gitlis does here. It's just amazing. So as you can see, I'll probably leave a few links in the description. All of this will be inside the school community, but these are some of the works Gitlis has recorded. So we have a Tchaikovsky, we have a Bruch, we have a Sibelius, we have a Mendelssohn, we have a Bartók 2, great concerto. We have all of these. Don't ask me why this album is in Japanese. I have no clue. It's really annoying. Some of the composers are even in Japanese. Like there is a piece by Wieniawski with Wieniawski written in Japanese for some reason. We have a Paganini, 2 Paganini concertos, I think. Yeah. No, there are 2 Paganini concertos he's recorded. Yeah, 1 and 2 with the of course, La Campanella. Yeah. The last recording we'll compare is one I just listened to today, actually. And it's the Brahms 3rd Violin Sonata. So let's go like this. Brahms Violin Sonata. No, sonata, we need the sonata. Otherwise I have too many recordings of the concerto. So this is Zuckerman playing it. Where is it? The second movement. Now we go with Zuckerman because it's a standard. You know, it's a reference recording. It's gorgeous, gorgeous playing. But it's completely different to how Gitlis would play this piece. So this is Zuckerman playing it. It's actually really a gorgeous movement. I hadn't listened to it much, I've got to admit, the Brahms sonatas. I mean, I know the first sonata, I know some of the third sonata, but that movement, when I listened to it, Gitlis played, I was like, wow. But now we hear, that was Zuckerman playing it, now we hear Gitlis play it, and it's a completely different sort of approach to the piece. Just listen. To me, one of the reasons I've been so obsessed with Gitlis recently is his playing just seems to have so much sort of soul to it, if you will. It seems to be so honest, it seems to be so individual, and I just love listening to it. It's amazing playing. So that's all we're going to listen to by Gitlis. Now, if you've made it this far, you clearly like this, you're clearly interested in these things, so I've got to show off at least a little bit of the school community. Now, this is a place we're building, which is going to be a community of sorts, where essentially we can all come together, we can all practice together, we can all discuss our different recordings of Gitlis, other violinists, whoever you want. We can all make some friends together. I really want it to be, my goal, I've said this before, and I'll say it again, my goal is to make a place that I would actually want to buy. That's run by someone I would actually want to get to know. So this is what we've got so far. We added a bunch of these the other day. So even we'll add some more. I'll add some more probably today about the Gitlis masterclasses. We've got some masterclasses by Heifetz, Heidelich, Zuckerman. We've also got in here the library, which has had another expanded feature. This is the violinists. So we have a listening list. You can just peek the listening, leaking the listening list. This is essentially the listening list fundamentals of if you want a piece and you want to listen to it, just pick one of these violinists, listen to multiple of them, listen to maybe 3 of them, and you'll probably be good to go with knowing what that sounds like. In here, I decided to add a violinists tab where you can listen to things sorted by violinist. So in here, this is where we sort by repertoire, right? So you can see all the repertoire we've gotten in here. It's quite a list at the moment. But I thought I would add another tab to sort my violinists, because often you listen to, sometimes when you get into really listening to something, you listen to a piece and you listen to a bunch of that piece. Maybe it's the Beethoven concerto, and you listen to a bunch of Beethoven concertos, because there are a lot of them. And for me, I listen to a bunch of Beethovens. I listen to Grumio, I listen to Heifetz, I listen to Zuckerman twice, I listen to Oistrakh. Who else did I listen to? Man, who's played? Oh, Milstein, of course, is a great. Even Tetzlaff, Heidelich, all great Beethoven concertos. But sometimes, like with Gitlis, maybe you're interested in one violinist, and this is where you would come to this tab, and you would listen to all the recordings under Gitlis. So it has all of Gitlis's recordings and a bit about him. A video sort of like this, I suppose, talking about each violinist. And then you could come back to the community and you could write about recordings, so you can tag it with the recordings, and you could write about the Gitlis recording you've been listening to and how great it is, and you could introduce other people to these recordings. I think it would be a great place for us to all learn to grow together, because we've got the same goals at the end of the day. It's to become much better violinists, much better musicians. And I think this would be a place that really promotes that. So I will see you all in the next video.